Public servant Heloísa de Almeida, 34, had just been seen at the hospital with strong contractions. Less than 10 minutes after being discharged, she gave birth on the sidewalk in front of the maternity hospital. Childbirth is always a moment long awaited and planned by the family, but not always everything goes according to the script. This is what happened to public servant Heloisa de Almeida, 34, from Jardinópolis, São Paulo. She gave birth on the sidewalk in front of the maternity hospital with the help of her husband Fábio Palmeira, 37, and Walter Prado, who sells sugarcane juice by the roadside at the hospital. It all happened minutes after she was released from the hospital. On the morning of June 12th, Heloisa was admitted to the Reference Center for Women's Health in Ribeirão Preto, São Paulo, with severe pain. She says, "I woke up around 5 a.m. with pain, but as my husband is an industrial mechanic and had come home from work at dawn, I held out a little longer so he could rest. When it was 6:30 a.m., I could no longer stand it and the contractions were just fine every 30 minutes. Then there was no way out and we went to the maternity hospital." She says that she arrived at the hospital in Ribeirão Preto around 7:30 a.m. at 40 weeks of gestation and suspected of being about to give birth. According to her, she was seen by the medical team in the ward, and less than 4 hours later, she was discharged for not having enough dilation for the delivery. The doctor did the touch exam and said that her cervix was still very hard. She says that she sent her for observation, and 4 hours later she came back and did it one more touch test. At that time, my bag burst and the stretcher was all wet and full of blood, Heloisa says. However, the doctor said that the bag had not burst, that the loss of fluid was normal, and that I had to leave because I didn't have enough dilating, she recalls. According to the public servant, she received medication to relieve the discomfort and was allowed to return home even in pain because of the protocols for care during the pandemic, and her husband had to wait all the time outside on the sidewalk in front of the hospital. Heloisa says, "I went out to say that I had been discharged, but I was not able to sit in the car or squat down because I felt that the baby was already being born. I had a pain pill in my purse and I decided to take it." Fabio went to the other side of the street to buy coconut water from a man who works in front of the hospital. There was no time for Heloisa to drink all the coconut water or go back to the health center. In a matter of minutes, she went into labor right there on the sidewalk. She says, "I took a sip and let go of the coconut because there was no way to continue. The baby's head was already coming out. I took off my pants and she was born, fell to the ground. My husband held me so I wouldn't fall on her while I screamed." She says the first to hold little Diana on his lap was Walter Prado, the sugarcane seller. He came running, picked up my daughter and put her on my lap. Then 10 nurses arrived, cut the umbilical cord in the street, put me in a wheelchair, and we went into the hospital, she recalls. After delivery, the mother and child received medical care and were released to return home 2 days later. Today, both are doing well. Walter said that he doesn't really usually hold a child in his arms and that he doesn't know what made him run to help. It must have been scary for him to recall the mother. In a note sent by the direction of the Reference Center for Women's Health in Ribeirão Preto, say that the case was audited and it was found that care and guidance were provided based on clinical protocols. That's it for you guys today. My name is Rose, and this is one more story of a mother ending up having a baby on the street just because of the protocols of the pandemic and the negligence of the hospitals.